It is great to have you along. I'm meteorologist Andy Parker, joined by meteorologist and storm chaser David Vogan. And today we have a line of storms crossing western New York. You're looking at a live picture as this begins to enter the downtown Buffalo vicinity. It extends all the way from the north towns into the southern tier, and it's coming in at a very good clip. Here's the radar as we're looking at it right now. A severe thunderstorm warning in effect from the shoreline of Lake Ontario all the way down into northern portions of Pennsylvania. David, take a closer look at the north towns for us. Feel free to add your comments and questions. We can see them live, and we're happy to answer all of them as this line of storms begins to roll into downtown Buffalo.
Yeah, and take a look at it. I mean, Newfane, Olcott, you are getting some very heavy rain and even the possibility of some pea-sized hail out there in your neck of the woods. Not raining heavy at the moment for North Tonawanda. I know Canal Fest happening up there in the Tonawandas. And then going into Buffalo, you just saw that wide picture, Andy. You seeing some of that feature. Very nice feature on there on the live camera right there.
Yeah, that looks like that line that's beginning to make its way in. Here's the close-up look at the radar. There has been some hail reported in some of these cells out over the water. As they get a little closer, we're going to have to keep an eye on it. About a penny-size hail is what's coming out of there. That's the live picture right now as you're looking out over Lake Erie, some of those darker clouds. Wind gusts are going to be between 40 and 60 miles an hour, some heavy rain. A lot of lightning reported with this as well. We've got a report right now. Debbie says there's rain, thunder, and lightning in North Tonawanda. Dave, let's go ahead and take a look at North Tonawanda in particular, because that's where we've seen some of these cells that contain hail starting to make their way in as they rumble across Lake Erie. Another one in Tonawanda. Doug says lots of thunder. I'm going to go back to this screen real quick. We just caught a lightning strike that came on the right-hand side of the screen as we're starting to see the rain increase. But look at how the scud, the lower end of that cloud begins to reach towards the ground there, David. Are we going to see kind of a shelf cloud out of this?
That looks like a roll cloud to me, just looking at that picture. But right behind that feature, you see how opaque that is. That's just heavy rain that's now about to cross into downtown Buffalo. In fact, you can see it on Doppler if you want to put that up right now. And we have it zoomed into the Buffalo metro area. And wherever you're seeing the yellows, the reds, that's very heavy rain. You're going to hear that on your rooftops within the next 5-10 minutes, Andy.
Yeah, that is right. They asked, is this a multi-hour event? I'm going to go back to the picture real quick. We just had another lightning strike on the left-hand side of the screen. So this is something that is popping. This is going to be about a 2-hour event as it crosses western New York in a pretty rapid fashion. Nothing at Hamburg on the lake yet. We haven't touched on the south towns. Let's go ahead and slide a little bit south of the city. David, take us there right now. And I'll keep an eye on that camera. If anything begins to develop out over the lake as it moves in, I'll bring it back up again. So they're saying that they're hearing it, but not seeing it in Hamburg yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can see on Doppler, Hamburg is bone dry for the moment. You've got some lighter shower activity up towards Blaisdell. But I do want to widen this out to show you where the heavy rain is. And it's currently over the lake, now crossing into sections of Dunkirk. So Hamburg, yeah, you're probably hearing the thunder, but this is going to be in your neck of the woods within 30 minutes or so. These are moving right around 25, 30 miles an hour. So it's going to be your turn within the next half an hour to an hour, Andy.
Yeah, that's right. We just had one up here. It says Sherry says she can see it and hear it, both of them in Pendleton. I think that's what's going to happen across a lot of western New York. Let's go back to the live pictures. We see that roll cloud kind of extending a little bit closer. You can see the features diving down. Those are some bugs crawling across the screen of the camera there in advance of this. But there's going to be some decent rain in there. You can see it still out over the lake closer to the city of Buffalo. Let's talk about Dunkirk and Chautauqua County in particular. They moved up the baseball game down there in Jamestown. It was the fan appreciation night. They started it at 5. I'm not sure they're going to be able to finish that out. Pouring now in East Buffalo, says Barb. There we go. Look at that. Thunder in Gowanda. That's another one. So you're zeroed in kind of right in that area.
Yeah, look how tight this gradient is. The reds pouring buckets in Dunkirk. Brockton just saw that line move on through. And then Forestville, you got some light rain, but look at that. State Road 39. I mean, this is going to be eventually into Perrysburg, and we can widen out the view. Again, this is just some very heavy rain that is now crossing into again, this is coming your way, Guada.
I think it's
And
important.
for
I think
Eric,
it's important to address that the light green on the screen is not the problem. It's those
no.
oranges and the reds. When Deborah says how many inches of rain, it's really about a half inch of rain. That's kind of what we're looking at. Thunder in Crystal Beach, says Jill, and it says it is raining on the west side of Buffalo now. Let's go back to the city. Here's that live picture again. Roll cloud kind of inching in on downtown Buffalo as that line begins to move on in. It's bringing the rain, the lightning strikes. There was another one that was a cloud to cloud, or it was within that intense rain. We saw the brightening sky of it there, but now it's beginning to kind of get swallowed up. Thunder down in Attica, or thunder over in Attica, as we say. What do we have here? Sprinkles in Olean. They're trying to get that Olean Oilers game in. That's the baseball game I was talking about. And it looks like, are they going to try to finish that down there? Let's slide on down to Olean, since we've had a couple of folks asking about it. Just the light rain there, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for you, Olean, you might luck out for the next hour. Wellsville saying the same thing. Houghton, Springville, not a drop in your backyard, but look at Jamestown, look at Dunkirk. That's where it's pouring, even just to the north of Ward right there. So the New York-Pennsylvania border, the southern tier, you folks are, you're going to get some rain soon out there.
Hey, they closed Canal Fest at 6:30. Back to the north we go, David. Give us that Northtown view as I give another peek at this cloud as it really comes right into our living room in front of this camera. That's going to be interesting. We'll zoom in on that feature in a moment, but they closed it down at 6:30. Probably a good idea. Lots of lightning. Zoom into the Tonawandas. It's not exactly heavy yet. You've got the light rain at that point, but that's the cell that's bringing that cloud, that low cloud, that roll cloud, and some of the gusts behind it. There it is.
Yeah, I mean, North Tonawanda, Tonawandas, light rain. Now, if you go to the eastern side of Grand Island, that's where that rainfall intensity rate starting to pick on up, and even Niagara Falls starting to see an uptick in rainfall totals for your area. So there's a lot of action, Andy, not just in the north towns, but throughout much of Western New York. There you go. There's another updated scan here, and you can see now crossing the 190 up there in Grand Island.
He just said Kenmore's getting pounded. So I'm going to give you a chance to reorient that on as we take a peek at downtown Buffalo. See if I've been watching these lightning strikes. Like every 15 seconds, there's another good one. Let me know when you're centered up on Kenmore. We'll do some street level stuff. All right, let's bring it back. Walk us through it. You can see 324. So there's Sheridan. So this is coming in where the 290 meets the 190 over by Sheridan, and then it drops down to the city. So this is missing downtown right now, the heaviest rain, but that is right over top of Kenmore.
Yeah, not just over Kenmore, but you're looking up towards the South Grand Island Bridge. Grand Island, much of it, you're now seeing some very heavy downpours, and just to the eastern half of Kenmore, that's where you're seeing some good rainfall totals right now.
Yeah, that is. I'm trying to spin the camera just a little bit to pick up. We can look right into that thing. Here we go. There you can see it right there as we kind of look a little bit more to the north. That very dark cloud that is producing that heavy rain sliding right across there. Just started raining now in Heartland. So there's another one in the north towns coming down good in the town of Tonawanda, like buckets. Yeah, this is some heavy rain. It is wringing out the atmosphere. Town of Tonawanda, we just said, getting heavy rain, lightning in Barker now. That's another Northtown thing. Cheryl, thank you very much. We love providing the information to you. This is fantastic. The feedback from you guys are great. Watching the storm on Hamburg Beach as it begins to roll on in. Send us the pictures if you've got a nice cloud picture of this stuff, or if you happen to capture some lightning, that would be great. That's awesome. Pouring and thunder in Wheatfield. Let's go ahead back to the map, David, and give us an update.
Yeah, I take a look at it. I mean, this is almost the wide picture of what's happening across Western New York from Buffalo to Lockport. But you just mentioned Wheatfield, so we can go into Niagara County, and you can see from North Tonawanda and Newfane, just on the edge for you folks out in Medina, you're about to get wet. But the heaviest rain, Andy, from Grand Island in the Niagara Falls, if you travel up to Newfane and Olcott, that's where you're seeing some of the heaviest rains. And even for our friends out there in St. Catharines, you're seeing also or hearing heavy rain out there in southern Ontario.
Just lost power in Wanaka, but no rain so far. So they're kind of right out in front of this. So let's go down to like Sturgeon Point, Derby, just south of the city there. Let's take a look at that. Hamburg is another one. They said they lost some power. It would not surprise me if that's due to a lightning strike. This has been a very electrical storm so far as we see this kind of roll on in.
Yeah, and just look at this live picture right now. Look how that sheet of rain is slowly inching its way into downtown Buffalo. But this is, you said Wanaka, right? Because Blaisdell right here, this is where the Ford plant is, where 179 Mile Strip meets Route 5. That's and Wanaka is just to the south. You folks are seeing very, very light rain. So you are correct. The storms really haven't arrived in your backyard. But we can widen up the view. You also mentioned Sturgeon Point, and Sturgeon Point's a little bit further south here. And just off the tip here, that is where the heaviest rain. So the heaviest rain still well off to the east, and even the possibility of some pea-sized hail out of some of these storms.
Even if you're not getting the heavy rain, the folks out in Orchard Park are saying it has gotten dark. The sky is thick with clouds, and now the folks that are up in the North Towns getting all that heavy rain wrung out. As we give this widen this out, let's put an area-wide picture on this. And then what I want to do is give that, we've got an hour-long time lapse on this that we'd like to roll and give you guys a peek at this.
Yeah, and, you know, these have been moving across West New York for at least the past half an hour, at least on our doorstep for the past hour or so. Andy, we actually did have a spin-up just to the south of New York State towards Erie, Pennsylvania. Thankfully, we're not seeing anything like that on Doppler as of right now. It's just a lot of lightning strikes and a very heavy downpours crossing into the area.
That's what they're saying. Thunder, lightning, rain, and Snyder, but no wind out of this one for them. So I think the potential for, are you tracking the hail cells on there? If so, let's go ahead and freeze this at the last frame, and let's mouse over one of those hail cells and see what the probability of that is. I'm going to give you a moment because I just saw, again, another one of these lightning strikes come out of the cloud and hit the water of lake just on the other side of the water intake, which is kind of on the left center of the screen. It's just a huge spidering lightning strike. You keep trying to grab one. All right, let's go back to this one and take a peek at what you've got.
The little triangles, the green triangles, that's radar detecting hail within these storms. A lot of times what happens is that the hail melts before it reaches the surface, but right now it's detecting that there is the probability of some hail just to the west of Sturgeon Point right here. And again, this is over the lake, so you've got about another 10-15 minutes before the heaviest rain arrives in Sturgeon Point, Angola, and Derby area, Andy.
Yeah, that's interesting as that continues to unfold. All right, let's go back to the wide view here. Visibility really bad. Wheatfield, sheets of rain. I think there's two areas that I want to focus on real quick. It's Niagara County and the central sections of Niagara County. Let's update folks in Lockport that are looking for an update here. So it's to the north of you. It's Wilson, Ransomville. Those are the worst hit right now. I know there was a concert up there in Lewiston. Let's slide back through the city, give folks a peek at what's happening kind of in and around downtown Buffalo as we get a peek at that.
Yeah, the heaviest rain to the north of downtown Buffalo. In fact, you have to go north of the Scajaquada into Kenmore onto the South Grand Island Bridge. That's where the heaviest rain is right now. Buffalo, right around the Erie Basin Marina. We can actually go street level right here. I do want to just go a little bit. There we go. There we go. Yeah, this is the Erie Basin Marina right here. You're seeing heavier rain, and you actually saw that move on through on the live cam right there, and it's actually now focusing on the water droplets that's falling on the window.
We've got a lot of rain. We got a lot of power outage in Derby and Lakeview. Everybody's saying they don't have power. They don't have power, so that means they're watching in the palm of their hand. That means their TVs aren't running, so they're watching us. which is great. Happy to have you along. Anybody watching right now, you're catching us as we're kind of bringing you the information as it unfolds. We've got this line of storms. It's not the worst storm we've ever seen, but they do extend all the way from the shoreline of Lake Ontario down into northwestern Pennsylvania. Lightning strikes have been numerous with this. We've had heavy rain and the possibility for some hail out of this as well. Let's go back to this map. I want to take it full. Silver Creek, look at this thing. That is beginning to light up right in the central sections of Chautauqua County, David.
Yeah, right around State Road 39, Gowanda 62, all the way to Route 20. This is some very, very intense rainfall. I mean, you're about to hear it on your rooftops out there in Gowanda. You are up next. Springville, not a drop in your backyard. But, Andy, just like you mentioned, this is more about the heavy rain crossing into Western New York and a lot of lightning for a lot of us here in the area.
Go to the inspector, see if you can get a rain rate on any of these and, something when we're zeroed in right there.
Well, no, let's see here.
Yeah,
I'd have
fine.
to go. Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, no, I have to switch to another map here.
Yep.
But, yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, that's coming in. It's needless to say, anywhere along that line that it's become extremely dark, the heavy rain. That's the yellow that you've got. Why don't you go ahead and roll on the yellow, see if we can get an inspector on that. That'll it's a lot of talk in there, but essentially this is moving very fast. It's going to last about an hour at any one location. So there is that potential to get some hail out of this. The wind gusts have not hit the north towns, but we're waiting to hear if anybody in the southern tier has been seeing that as well. So the University District must be in the bubble, right? Yeah, downtown Buffalo hasn't gotten hit yet, but it should be very quickly. East Amherst is now getting ripped by some rain. Take a look at that.
Yeah, we can go in a little bit closer and show you the view up there in the north towns. This is currently the wide view of what's happening across all of Western New York. And then we'll zoom into the north towns here and check out what's going on. And you mentioned, what was it, University at Buffalo? That was in the
Yeah, the University District, and then also East Amherst, they said, is getting some heavy rain. So I'm expecting that this map is about to update and bring some of those sort of oranges and reds a little further off to the east.
Yeah, this is the 990, so UB is in right within this location here of the cursor. Right now, the heaviest, at least it looks like the heaviest still, is just to the west of you folks. But, I mean, it's coming.
I threw this on here because a megabolt, I mean, it was huge. Just it was like a glowing pipe that just lit from the clouds right to the lake and turned it blue. I'm going to hold it on this camera for a moment, and there's still a lot of lightning out there right now. Oh, here we go. This is there's the winds. So the high winds are coming in on the south side of this, David. Let's go ahead and take a look at Gowanda down there. They've got enough. They had enough wind that it just pushed a grill right across somebody's deck. Now, if we find the leading edge of this, this is going to be kind of that echo that is producing both the wind and the rain and the lightning. The trifecta is down there in Chautauqua County. Catherine says it's coming now. It is here in a lot of places across Western New York. West Amherst, Guestville, just starting to amp up. That's a good way to put it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Gowanda just had a big gust of wind, and I bet they had that same roll cloud out in front of it. You can see anywhere from Silver Creek along the lake down to Forestville, and there's another one. Just, man, every time we pull off of this camera, another massive lightning strike. This is I wonder if anybody out there, if you're hearing these things, go ahead and put some comments in. Dave and I are taking those, and we're watching all of this as it develops. How far south does this go? Has it affected Jamestown yet?
Yeah, I mean, Jamestown is getting walloped right now. We can move this further south, and the bullseye is just over Jamestown and Chautauqua Lake as we speak. Randolph, Salamanca, getting the light rain right now. But again, this is going from west to east, and eventually just about everybody in Western New York, Andy, is going to get some water in your area, in terms of some intense rainfall rates, for the next couple of hours or so. So we can widen up the view right now and show you the big picture. So from Jamestown, Buffalo to northern Niagara County, you folks are are in the thick of it right now.
Yeah, I just loaded the lightning on here, and we've got about 360 lightning strikes, 367, 68. They just keep peppering the map as we go here. So this is a massive electrical storm that is just unleashing across Western New York. As far as we've got the wind to the south. It seems like the electrical has knocked out power for Angola, Derby. We're hearing a lot of that now. And then the North Towns has got the heavy wind. Lots of electrocuted fish tomorrow. There you go. Just had a big lightning strike there too, but no rain or wind yet. And what do we have? Another one here. How fast is this moving? What's the ground speed on this? If we put that on there, some of these cells earlier, we were seeing them at around 20, 30 miles an hour. I don't know if that's changed.
Yeah, between 30 and 45 miles an hour, I would say, with some of these storms. So they're moving at a decent rate of speed, not as fast as if you were to travel on the 90, the thruway. The speed limit is 65 there, but still, these are good moving storms across Western New York. And the good news is because of that, that does mitigate the flooding risk in much of Western New York. So if there's any good news out of these storms moving on through, is they're moving fast enough, thankfully, not to create a high risk for flooding in the area.
Yeah, that's one thing, that the rate of the ground speed isn't going to let anybody get too much water. Anywhere from a quarter to a half inch, I think, is going to be the worst case scenario. Again, here's another one. Power out in Lakeview, no wind, light rain, lots of lightning. I think that's what did it for you. Let's go ahead and zoom in Lakeview, because it looks like this is picking up, at least right at Sturgeon Point, Hamburg. I think the folks that have seen the least least rain out of this is probably that Hamburg Lackawanna corridor.
Yeah, this is 18 Mile Creek right here. And then, of course, Derby, and then Lakeview is on the other side of this. And yeah, Lakeview, not a whole lot of rain. But when you widen up the picture, Andy, you start to see the darker reds, that very, very heavy rain now crossing into Evangola, just about to move into Angola area. Actually, I can see it on the map, and Lake Erie Beach. So there's a lot of landmarks on this map right here. And you mentioned Hamburg, starting to finally see some rainfall. But again, the green is not the intense rainfall. It's the places of Lake Erie Beach, Evangola State Park. That's where the heavy stuff is right now.
All right, I'm going to cut you off. Brian's camping in Olean. They're down there. He's watching on his cell phone, just as most folks are probably doing right now. Let's give him an update and let him know when this is coming in. He's got some light rain, but the big stuff is how far away, if you had to put a guess on it for him there?
I would say almost a county away. You could see Jamestown. In fact, it's starting to look like it's weakening a tad over at Jamestown, because you can call the last scan, there's a lot of red over Chautauqua Lake, and it just looks like it's slowly weakening for that area. But Olean, some light rainfall right now for you folks, but it is coming your direction along I-86. So probably within the next hour or so, you're about to see the rainfall uptick.
I want to throw this on there. Cheryl said, fill the screen with likes. We haven't put this out there in a while, but if you could do that, it helps out a lot. The biggest thing you could do is share the stream. That is a huge help to us. But go ahead and smash the like button. It takes about 1/8 of a second, but it's a big help. Let's go ahead and bring this back on full as we're watching the storm as it unfolds from north to south. A big line. It came in on schedule. They're asking about Niagara Falls. Let's go ahead and look at that, because they're right in the thick of it now.
Yeah, we can go closer here to Niagara Falls, the North Grand Island Bridge, and just to the north of Niagara Falls, Lewiston area. That's where you're seeing some very heavy rainfall right now. But downtown Niagara Falls, for at least the time being, you did see some heavy rain. Now it's on the lighter side of things, and the heavy rain also crossing into the Wheatfield area in North Tonawanda, just like we were mentioning before, Andy.
Yeah, 371 lightning strikes and counting on this particular storm as it continues to kind of rake across from west to east. It's raining now in Williamsville. We've got another one here. Lots of thunder and lightning to our south, but no wind. And as we said, Hamburg has only had the light rain up till now. Let's talk about the folks in Wyoming County. They want to know what's going on out there. You'll be the last to see it come in, and the last to see it leave out in Wyoming County.
Yeah, and I bet there's a lot of people camping right now over Letchworth, and it is bone dry from Pike, Warsaw, even into Holland in Erie County. Springville now finally on the doorstep for some rainfall. And then as we go a little bit further closer here, Perrysburg, Gowanda, now finally starting to see the heavy rainfall. And Andy, I know somebody before in Gowanda mentioned they had a good gust that pushed over a grill.
Yep.
I guarantee Springville area is going to see a good gust within a couple of minutes or so.
Yeah, let's go put the time lapse on. I think you've got an hour-long time lapse on there, and this will give us a good idea of when this is coming in. That's the live picture of where it is now. Here's how it's progressed over the last hour, beginning to move in along the lake. You can see the oranges, yellows, and the reds. It's not falling apart. As a matter of fact, if anything, it's kind of picked up a little steam, and that line of wind is going to be right on the doorstep. It's coming along Route 39. Let's freeze it now. We just got an updated frame in. This is going to bring us right to current. It looks like the 219 kind of the target for this. And if you haven't had the rain in Hamburg, Orchard Park, and West Seneca to a heavy amount, it's about to get there. Let's zero right in on Springville, because this is now knocking on the doorstep of southern Erie County. And there you can see there's Route 39 as it collides with 219. And this is going to go right through the center of town. And it's not far away. The skies are darkening quickly across there. Impressive lightning in Elma and lots of thunder rumbles. Cattaraugus, where was this? Cattaraugus getting a lot of lightning too. As I mentioned, there's over 300 lightning strikes just in probably in the last 30 minutes. Heavy rain and lightning thunder just went through Black Rock, and this is what this picture in downtown Buffalo shows. That heavy rain hammering the city of Buffalo right now as well. North Java getting some rumbles of thunder, but no rain yet. So you're going to hear the storm before you feel it, I think. I think you're going to hear it, Dave. Then you're going to feel it, that gust of wind, if anywhere south and east, and then you're going to see the rain come down.
Yeah, I mean, I look at that picture. The rain, this goes past umbrella weather, by the way. This is, if you have to run to your car, you're sprinting as fast as you can right now. But if you do have the chance just to stay in, relax, watch us on your cell phone. I mean, we're tracking the storms right now. Here it is on Doppler, Kenmore, North Tonawanda. Still, that's where the heavy rain is.
Dave, I'm going to cut in. Sandra, they're camping in Franklinville. Let's get down there, zero in. She's watching on a cell phone. They're a little bit worried about this coming on in. There are a lot of folks. You mentioned it before. We've had a couple people now that have been camping. So Franklinville, let's widen out just a little bit to show how close this thing is. So in Cattaraugus and Gowanda, this is the cell that had some pretty good gusts with it as it's moving on across. It's progressing there. What are we guessing at this point? You've got a low probability of hail, but you are going to see a lot of lightning. You're going to hear a lot of lightning. And then that heavy rain should last about 30 to 45 minutes. Looking at that, David, are we thinking that that particular cell is about 25 to 30 minutes away?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to cross over some of the it's got to at least cross over the 219 and Ellicottville before it gets to Franklinville. And yeah, it's going to be heavy rain, lots of lightning. But look on the backside of this, as you got some more rain, but it's not as intense as that first line that's coming through, Andy. So yeah, another 25, 30 minutes out there for you folks in Franklinville.
You got it. Well, good luck in Franklinville as you're camping. Really cranking up in the Tonawandas. This line beginning to form. Again, this is the rain that's coming down. It just streaming down the, sometimes it beads up on the camera. This time around, we've lost any ability to see the lake, the sky, and the rain all bleeding together. And then this is what we have right now. That is the view that we've lost out over the lake. And we're seeing that the rain just streaming down the stream. Cranking up in the Tonawandas. Let's go take a look at that now, because you can see that the rain that you're seeing on the screen in downtown Buffalo, that's the type of rain that's coming down now into the Tonawandas. They shut down Canal Fest at 6:30 tonight for good reason. They knew this was coming. They were watching. We actually went back and forth with some of the folks, and there you go. This is why they kind of put the kibosh on it earlier tonight. This one is Amherst and Williamsville. Lots of thunder, no lightning strikes, but it's knocking on the door of Williamsville. Since we're there, let's slide over to Williamsville, and we'll put the time lapse on this too. If we could, let's do the time lapse first, and then zero in on this.
Yeah, it's now moving. So Yeah, here you go. Kenmore to North Tonawanda. That's where the heavy rain is. You look to Amherst and areas east along the thruway to Pew. I mean, it's very light rain, but again, that intense rainfall starting to pick up out there in North Tonawanda, like the folks just mentioned out there. And
Yeah,
even looking at that live view in Buffalo, it's just pouring buckets. I can actually hear it now in South Buffalo. That
yeah,
is, yeah, you need Rain-X to wipe that over just
yeah.
to see what's going on out there. I
This
just
is
saw
this
another
is
flash of
this is
lightning.
interesting. David, downtown Buffalo getting absolutely inundated. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
torrential downpour, dead calm in Depew. I want to go back to the map and show you how close this is. It just updated. We should have a fresh screen here. And
Yep.
that's how close it is. I mean, you're in one area a few miles away, you're getting inundated by this rain. In Depew, they haven't had it yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's Alden, Akron, very light shower activity, but it is yeah, very heavy rain crossing into Buffalo right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Let's go back to the wide view. Hey, we're taking your comments, questions as we track this line of storms. This is the big picture. It's going to cross us for about 2 hours from when it starts to when it finishes. Now, the folks that haven't had this yet in Orleans County, it's about there now. Genesee County as well. Batavia, some light rain. Wyoming County, it's really non-existent at this point, but it's all working that direction. And Allegheny, you'll be the last to see it come in and last to see it leave. I'm meteorologist Andy Parker, David Bogan right below me. This is the view in downtown Buffalo, and we are watching this line of storms producing that torrential rain. That's the picture. That's what the windshields are seeing all across Western New York on any of the major routes where people are trying to get somewhere tonight. A lot of activities have shuttered early, or they are now if they haven't before. This is a big storm coming through. We are taking your comments and questions. If you've got some pictures, go ahead and send them in on social media. We'll try to pop them on the screen. Another lightning strike. Let me give you another update on the total number of lightning strikes in the last bit. Still 373. 390 now, 390. So we're up another notch in the lightning department as this just continues to light up the sky. Hey, John, great to have you along. Appreciate it here. Summer of the Waterfalls. That is right. This is a fun one. If you haven't followed John, please do. John Kutchko Digital, great friend of the stream, and he's going to be watching those elevated creek levels over the next day or two after this one.
Hey,
what do we got? We've got some lightning and lots of lightning pummeled in NT.
Yeah, I do have an update right now. This is just in from the National Weather Service, and some reports of trees down in Brockton and Chautauqua County, and then there was another report of a tree down on looks like several trees down in Dayton as well. So the Dayton-Perrysburg area, according to the National Weather Service. Actually, law enforcement reporting that there's been trees down with this line out here that's now crossing 219 all the way from Springville into Cattaraugus. So this line right here is producing some heavy gusts, enough to knock down a few trees. So just wanted to give you the update right now.
Yeah, go street level on that one, David, because this is coming through along the go a little bit north along the 219 and just kind of walk our way down. When we talk about where this is, so the heaviest rain right now is coming from North Boston, south along the 219, down to Springville, and then a little bit further south of Springville as well.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm just looking at more storm reports coming in. There's a lot of them actually.
Yeah, another. We'll take a look at those, and we'll see if we can catch another lightning strike on here. Raining hard in Williamsville. Well, we told you it was coming. There you go. The winds picked up in South Buffalo. Yeah, as this line comes in, don't be lulled into complacency that it's not coming. If you've only had light rain, you're still about to get the rest of it. Part two is the gust of wind. No thunder to the north of us. Few sprinkles getting dark. Rushford, this is coming your way. We just showed you that as well. Hey, Paula, thank you very much for watching. Everybody out there, if you are watching us, all we ask is that you do a quick like and share of the stream, and that helps us out a lot. We're happy to do it. It is our gift to you to kind of keep you guys one step ahead of the weather as this one comes in, and it's a big one, and we're watching this line. There it is. Put it on the screen. Paula will pull that out. Thank you very much. BlackRock said they were getting some pretty good rumbles of thunder. Look at here's a good description. Monsoon and windstorm in the village of Hamburg. Remember how the folks in Hamburg said they hadn't had anything yet? Well, take a look at this. That cell is now crossing over. Let's put some reference points on there for folks. There's Eden, Hamburg, Sturgeon Point, just on the left of the screen. So this is crossing Route 520, the thruway, all the way over to near the 62-75 split.
Yeah, and 391, I mean, the heaviest, Eden corn country is getting a downpour. That is some very heavy rain, just like we saw on the live camera. But yeah, it's now crossing into Hamburg and North Boston. You are next within the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's a big one there. Flash of lightning in Williamsville starting to pick up there. Starting to get dark in Ulysses down in PA. Great to have you along across the New York-Pennsylvania line. What do we have? Wind starting to pick up on Orchard Park, West Seneca border. Yeah, you're going to start to see any of those river birch begin to bend pretty quickly. Is this one Batavia? Bradford, lots of thunder and lightning. Let's zero in. They're just south of Olean. Let's take a look right at the New York-Pennsylvania line since we have some folks from Olean, Bradford, and Ulysses in the house. We'll give them a quick update here as that straddles the line.
I just want to let you know, new severe thunderstorm warning now issued for the Olean area and much of western New York that is currently east of this line. So Pike now under a severe thunderstorm warning. And then up to Houghton, Franklinville, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. So this map is going to update within hopefully the next couple of seconds here, but just wanted to let you know just into the desk right now. Wellsville also looks like just on the border of that severe thunderstorm warning. So this line that's currently crossing into Springville, it's going to make its way into Houghton and Olean. Currently light rain, but again, it's coming.
Yeah. Hey, here's something you don't hear every day. Wish it was all snow. No, thank you. That's okay. We're good there. What do we have else? When will it end? I want to get to this one. When will it end in the North Towns? Cats terrified. Canal Fest canceled. Let's go quickly to the North Towns. Let's flip it, David. Put the time lapse on it and see if we can find the back edge of this and define kind of the end of the big stuff for them. Watching this unfold over the last hour, there's the warning as it goes up on the screen. I'd almost say that the U.S.-Canadian border might be the dividing line between some of the worst of the weather.
Yeah, and I have to widen out the view here just to show the backside and get a better understanding of, the motion of this system, where the rain is ending. But currently you can see where the dryness is moving into Woodstock, just about into Hamilton. That's where the borderline is. But so even though the heaviest rain is now crossing into the North Towns, Grand Island, Niagara Falls, up towards Lewiston, Olcott, Newfane, you still have some more rain on the backside, just not as heavy. So the heavy rain is really front loading onto the eastern half, and the western half is when the rain really starts to wind on down here.
Yeah, this is the rain as it comes down in downtown Buffalo. This is indicative of the color that you'll see on the screen. Anything that's in the color of orange or red. Red is going to be, are we red in downtown Buffalo? Is this the return that we're looking at right now, or is that still kind of the orange?
No, we are red. Oops, a little bit too close there.
That last frame. Yeah, that's the core of it. Just came over the city of Buffalo a couple minutes ago, along with a lot of lightning flashes. That's what you're finding. This is the rain rate, the edge of the lake. You can barely make out the break wall. You can see the apartments there. It's easier when those lightning strikes hit. We've had over, I think it was 391 or 93 was the last count we had. Big wind just hit West Falls. All right, let's go to the map now that we know where this gust front has made its way to. We're going to drop out of downtown Buffalo. Folks at the airport in Depew, get ready. It's coming your way. Lancaster, it's got your name on it. Coming in the next probably 15 minutes, you're going to see a drastic change. And we just said that this was West Falls. So if we're going to go a little south, we go east of Hamburg there. The front line of that is going to produce these wind gusts.
Yeah, West Falls.
You're right here in that area, right? Just to the west of where you're, to the east of where you're going there.
Yes.
So it's kind of like kitty corner to Orchard Park is what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yep, they've got some 20 to 40 mile an hour winds in Williamsville. The heavy rain, lots of lightning. They're seeing it up there as well. Looks terrible there above Bradford. Yes, it is. What do we have now? The heavy rain and some wind. Those wind gusts starting to hit portions of Williamsville. West Seneca now, Danny says the good downpours have shown up there as well. Depew, who was not getting rain, there was that big lull in Depew, no longer. Cheektowaga getting hit hard. You can see it there now as it begins to move through really right the core. The 190 where it meets the 90 is about the next thing. So anybody just to the east of the thruway before it makes that turn towards Rochester, that's where it's really going to begin picking up. Picking up in West Seneca, Elma, getting very dark.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at this right now. You just mentioned a lot of towns that are on this map: Depew, Buffalo, North Tonawanda, Alden, Akron, East Aurora. I mean, there's so many towns that are being impacted by this system moving on through, and the heaviest crossing into Buffalo. I mean, look at that picture. It's just that's crazy.
Raining sideways. So in West Falls, they've got the rain coming down and the wind pushing it sideways. Let's reset that Doppler, David. Give it the wide view as we kind of take another peek at this. Rain intensity increasing. Clarence Center, that's another one. The lightning show there in Depew. Barb wants to know, are we going to have the storms all night? No, we will not. It's going to be about a 2-hour event. As we watch the time lapse on here, we can kind of time it out. The worst of it is really coming through Niagara, Erie, and portions of Chautauqua, sliding into Cattaraugus County right now. Behind it, there's still rain coming down, but the light show and the wind is out in front of this. And that's why you see those yellow boxes begin to pop on the screen. Those are the warnings that are put out by the National Weather Service. They will block those out, usually giving you about an hour's lead time, and you go from one side to the other as those begin to make their way through. But it's not going to miss anybody. Orleans County hasn't been warned yet, but we're watching that cluster that's just now. Look at the end of the 990 there, David. Take a peek at that one. I'm going to recenter this one because we just had a couple more lightning strikes. I think that's going to be maybe the worst of it. If you're in the North Towns, we're going to take you to the spot that is going to see the worst. You're including the rain, the lightning, and probably some wind. There it is right there. And you've got Niagara Falls Boulevard going up to the left. You've got the 990 where it hits Millersport. Widen out just a little bit. Give us another peek here because that's what just came through the Tonawandas, and those folks were talking about that as well. Rapids, and this looks like it's moving slightly to the north and east. There you can see the city of Buffalo, but that cell just to the north of it was developing as well. What do we got? There's, this is a boat 11 miles off offshore Lake Ontario, taking on water after lightning strike. That's not a good situation. That might be something that this is just someone named Robert who's kind of putting that out there. Robert, give us another comment. Let us know where you saw that. Is this something you picked up on the scanner or where are you getting that from? Rolling thunder in Rushford, but no rain. Rushford, let's slide down. You're just going to go south and east of where you are right there. There it is, Rushford. This is portions of Cattaraugus and Allegheny County. Have not gotten it yet, but it is coming your way big time. Anybody seen hail yet? Luckily not in Wilson or Newfane. Dave, are you able to put the hail tracker on there, or not the tracker, but the triangles and see what our probability of detection is?
Yeah, the hail has really not been a factor in these storms across western New York. I mean, you got some detection out here to the north of Springville. Looks like the Holland area. There you go. And, you know, the slight chance of hail, pea-sized hail at best in Holland, but no damaging hail right now on Doppler.
Hey, here's an update from Robert. He said he heard it on the Coast Guard radio station, Channel 16, that there's a boat out there over 11 miles out on Lake Ontario that just took a lightning strike, now taking on, I think he said it was taking on water. If I heard him, if I remember.
Yes.
Let's go back to this. He said, taking on water after a lightning strike. That is, let's just look out over the open waters of Lake Ontario where this might have happened. He didn't give any coordinates or anything, but here's another one. This says, Niagara County Fire reported the boat accident as well. Thank you, John. So, I mean, 11 miles offshore, if you go as a crow flies there, anywhere from Olcott, Wilson, you can see that is going to be right in the thick of this. Out over those waters of Lake Ontario. They're getting the wind and the rain out there. Wow, what a mess. East Aurora getting slammed right now. Let's go ahead and look at the South Towns as we've kind of explored there's that cluster that's producing this over downtown Buffalo. So if you see the color of orange or yellow over top of your region, that's what you've got right now. You can see East Aurora kind of at the north end of this. Wales, it was, I think that was South Wales was getting those big wind gusts out in front of this. If you want to make some comments or questions, you can go put them on in. You've got David Vogan, Andy Parker here, and we're kind of tracking this line of storms. It's a big one from north all the way to the shoreline of Lake Ontario, out over the lake into portions of Pennsylvania. We've had folks down in Jamestown asking questions. Pop your comments on the side. If you could, go ahead and share the stream. Like and share. That helps us out a lot as we continue to provide the best information you can get in the palm of your hand when you want it. How much rain is expected out of this? I think we talked about it. We're looking for about a quarter to a half inch, depending on how hard you get hit by that by the thunderstorms. Here's another update just coming in. This is going to be something I think that's going to get a lot of play here. Niagara County Fire just verified the 33-foot boat struck by lightning, taking on water. It's 11 miles out from Golden Hill. I'm not sure where Golden Hill is. Where what town there, or what's the larger town near Golden Hill? Wow, another lightning strike just lit up the whole shoreline of Lake Ontario. Kicking it in I'm guessing that's Kaisertown from Phil in K-Town. So there we go. There's a lot going on with this, and we appreciate it. Hey, thank you very much. You all are the best for joining us here. Giving a peek, we can see there's a lot of eyeballs in here. If there's anything you want, if there's some town you want to know the timing of this, is it coming to your backyard and when, we're happy to do it. Let's go back to the wide view, David, and throw the time lapse on here. Give people an idea of when this thing is coming in and coming out and where's it moving.
Yeah, by the way, Golden Hill is just around Somerset out there in Niagara County. So just to give you an idea of where this is happening. But this is the wide view, and what's interesting is if you want to know where the winds are packing a punch, it's right out here towards Springville, this line. And this line actually had a history of producing some good wind gusts, especially out there in Brockton. A lot of trees being reported down in the Brockton area. Cherry Creek, I think, was another area that saw trees down on lawns and roads. So do take it easy if you're traveling out and about in the southern tier, especially with this line. Still gusting some good wind speeds here from Springville and just on the doorstep of crossing into Olean area.
How long till it hits Arcade, David?
How long? Well, let me see if I can take this off the screen here. Arcade, we can zoom on in a little bit closer. That's southern Erie County, right towards Springville. And Arcade, yeah, just on the doorstep for you folks out there in southern Erie County, about to cross into Wyoming County. And Andy,
moments.
Yeah,
I didn't want to put a time on that. I mean, literally, it's going to be minutes before this thing updates, because we'll get a Doppler image in about every 5 minutes or so. So this is probably a couple minutes old. I'm imagining the next update is less than 5 minutes away. So I mean, this thing for Arcade, it's got to be right there. Slowing down in Derby, that is the case. Yeah, you can see that the lighter returns, still some yellows, but none of the oranges and reds. Those are the ones that are producing the gusty winds. We've got light rain now starting out in Akron and Newstead. A lot of lightning there as well. Here's another one, Batavia. So Batavia hasn't gotten hit yet. There's a lot of folks out there wondering when that's coming in. You can see on the time lapse there, David, this is crawling down the thruway. They're going to start with light rain, but it looks like that line is picking up some intensity as it crosses central Erie County.
Yeah, I can go a little bit closer out to Batavia, and you folks are just barely into the severe thunderstorm warning right now. And you're seeing some light rain, Oakfield, Akron, but when you go a little bit wider here for the North Towns view, this is where that heavy rain is, from North Tonawanda, Buffalo, crossing into Cheektowaga, the airport getting inundated with lots of water right now. So this is slowly inching towards your way. And what's happening, at least for the North Towns, is you're seeing a lot of rain, heavy rain, sheets of rain, and lightning out of this. And the good gusts are just to the south in the southern tier.
Yeah, power's back on in Hamburg. So we've heard some of the folks that did lose power from that, likely from a lightning strike, unless there was some other accident, but I would say it seems too coincidental that you have. Let's see how many lightning strikes we're up to now. We're back down to 355. The most lightning coming out of this storm right now is right along the New York Pennsylvania line, just to the west of Olean. That is a huge cluster, electrical cluster down there. If we look at that, that is what a mess. That's right down there, that red blob. That is where, if I had to look at that, we probably had the lion's share of the lightning strikes coming right out of there. It looks like, yeah, of the 300, 145 are out of just in the Bradford, probably about a 20-mile radius around Bradford. The other ones are coming out of the northern section of this storm.
Yeah, I just put on storm reports, by the way, onto this map just to show you the reports that are coming out of this line crossing into Franklinville at this moment. But Sinclairville, there's a lot of reports of trees, limbs down. In fact, this went out in Mayville, tree and wires down in the Hartfield area. So this did pack a punch out there for Chautauqua County and into Cattaraugus County.
Excellent. Hey, got a lot of questions now. This is what we're hearing in. Actually, someone asking to zoom in on West Seneca. So let's give them a quick peek at West Seneca. I'm going to pull this up again because, man, it seems like every 10 or 15 seconds, you can actually start to see it's becoming lighter out over the lake. Still a lot of lightning out there, but it's becoming lighter. So the back edge of this is coming through. We'll look at West Seneca real quick for, let's see, it was for Rob. So there it is. What's coming up for West Seneca?
There it is.
It's right on top
of
it.
It just updated. So within 5 minutes, we went from going from the green to light rain, and now it's pouring buckets in West Seneca.
All right. Here's what I want to do. We've got a bunch of questions. This one from Hannah. This is, when is it going to calm down? So they want to know when it's going to calm down in Tonawanda, when it's going to calm down in Williamsville. It's storming in Clarence. So it looks like it's easing up a little in Tonawanda, a little brighter than it was. So we've got a lot of questions about of when this is going to ease up in the Tonawandas. And then it looks like it's still, here's this was the one about, yeah, there were some tornadoes way down in Pennsylvania. This is the one I wanted to, in the Village. This is the one. There, you guys are sending them in. I love it. Crazy rain in Clarence. A power cable keeps going on and off. That's why you've got the mess that you have in Clarence right there. You got a lot of lightning. You've got that heavy rain. Now, David, let's widen out. Go back to the west a little bit, and let's update the Tonawanda folks that wanted to know when this is going to stop.
Yeah, I mean, good news for North Tonawanda. You've got another round of moderate rainfall before things start to slow down. So we're finally starting to see the thick of it move out of the Tonawandas, North Tonawanda, into Niagara Falls. And look at that live view, Andy. You're starting to see some of that orangish hues, and that's a good indicator this is starting to wind on down for the Buffalo area. So great news for Niagara Falls, North Tonawanda, not so much for Williamsville and Clarence. I mean, that's some very heavy rainfall around the airport and Depew and the Cheektowaga as well. So
so that's let's look at that cluster that's right. And Lockport is about to see some heavier rain too. Let's look at the cluster that's now just over the airport at this hour. Then I want to slide down through the South Towns a little bit here.
Yeah, airport. There you go. Right around here.
Airport.
Yeah. That is that's incredibly heavy rain right there. Williamsville, Harris Hill. Yeah, this is past umbrella rain right now. Widening out the view, Clarence Center starting to see an uptick in rainfall. Akron, you're still waiting. It's coming though.
Yeah, all that is moving that direction. Now, here's something that just popped in. Was there a tornado in Dunkirk? Worst storm ever experienced. Terrifying. Haven't had any reports of that yet. So
no, but this was the storm reports, and I mentioned there was a lot of storm reports in the Dunkirk area, Brockton especially. We could hover over some of these just to show you the report, and this is up towards the Dunkirk area, but tree down on the house on West Shorewood Drive. That is a report. Another one in the Brockton area. Yeah, several trees down Route 5. This is just all over the map.
Yeah.
Casadega, Mayville, Westfield, Cherry Creek area. I mentioned that before. Large tree and wires down. So it not only did we see trees down, but it took down some wires down,
Yeah.
electrical wires down in Cherry Creek. So there are a lot of storm reports of trees down on the
All right.
properties here in the
Easing
southern
up,
tier.
easing up in East Aurora and the Falls. Let's go ahead and put the time lapse back on here. Give people an idea of the big picture, and then what we'll do is go to the front side of this, where we still might be seeing those big wind gusts as they kind of traverse the area. There you can see the back edge of this thing, another lightning strike out of there. So even though the worst of it's out front, there's still some lightning to be had on the backside of this storm. But things are beginning to get better in downtown Buffalo, brighter, if not better. This is the view. It's an hour-long time lapse, folks, so you can see that the western portions of Niagara County are seeing improvement. The eastern portions of Niagara County are still getting some rain, and it looks like that cluster of storms just around Cheektowaga. What is the trajectory on that, David, if we watch that on the time lapse? Is it going to hold it right there? Let's give it a peek as we roll it on out, and you can see it almost moves to the north and east.
Yeah, it's kind of just training over the area at this moment, but it's going to eventually move on out within the next half an hour. So I mean, you looked at that live camera picture over the lake, and you see that orange hue, and the rainfall not as intense, actually lightening up in the Buffalo area. So that is good news that the end is almost here for those of us into the western sections of western New York, but actually getting some more storm reports, not just really just for areas south of Buffalo. So that's where the winds are really packing a punch. I saw something out in Delavan, though. So it's some new storm reports coming on in here into the Weather Center.
Yeah, they're still making their way across the area. Let's watch this live picture for just a moment as this begins to improve. So these are the skies on the backside of this, and this is the front side. And we look at what's happening in Lockport. I think that's kind of the northern edge of this. Is right along Transit Road, all the way down into portions of Orchard Park. So this is now kind of clustering in these blobs, if you will, and that one is over Cheektowaga. That is going to continue to move across northeastern Erie County, and then the rest of it is a little bit further to the south. Can we slide down, take a look at the southern tier? Because Hamburg should see some improvement now. If we go into the counties of Cattaraugus and Allegheny, it's almost as if this has picked up speed. There it goes. You had that burst of wind through Gowanda, and then now this is really continuing to just push right across Cattaraugus County, coming up to the Allegheny County border. A lot of lightning down over. Let's focus on McKean-Potter County in Pennsylvania really quick as we watch this. I think that's the worst thing that we have on the map is right down there.
Yeah, this was part of the storm. I'm going to pause this right here. But this storm towards Union City and Warren, Pennsylvania, this storm was what triggered a tornado warning. Again, not for New York, but in Pennsylvania. And eventually, you see right here, this was the worst of it. And it merged into this line that's about to cross into Mount Jewett and Coudersport. You guys are dry, but again, this is about to cross into your neck of the woods. But if you were to move further north here, you're starting to see more and more storm reports coming on in for southern Erie County. I don't know if you can see this right out here for the Irving area. This looks like for Brant, and you're seeing reports of trees down in Farnham. You can even go further north here to Evans, multiple trees down in the town of Evans, even just north of Eden. We were talking about Eden and Belknap Road. You got a tree down. And the new reports coming on in, Andy, just on in, is right just to the east of Delavan, or east of Springville.
Hey, when you roll over it, hold it there for a moment. Let us get a look at that one. So, so this is several trees down. Let's go to the one right below it and see where that is. Now that is in Cattaraugus, New York. So there it is again, another right across Delavan Road, Route 21. So those are that just happened. Those just happened as that blew through. Let's go down a little further to the south, and I want to again take a look at the worst of it here, just to the south of Olean. A lot of folks go camping kind of in that Red House area, just to the west of that. So that just blew through those folks down there. That's the worst that we've got on the map. Is that that triangle? Is that a hail marker? Roll over
Yeah.
that. Let's see. That's 90%. Yeah, they're probably getting hail out of that portion of the storm. All right, that's a look there. That is what's coming through Bradford. Anybody down there, that's going to be the same situation right across over to Coudersport, Smethport. That's happening now and will be moving your direction. Let's go back up into portions of Cattaraugus County as we look at Olean. As you go south of Route 400 and take 16, this is going to be Cuba, Houghton, Rushford, Franklinville. That's going to be the worst of the weather. Behind it, there's still some rain, but it's not as bad. A little further north, let's take a peek at the storm right there. That cell that is now moving towards Warsaw. Let's zero in and give a couple of the communities out that are going to get those issues there. No power on Tonawanda Creek Road in East Amherst, according to a friend who has no power. That's North Tonawanda finally slowed down. Good to know. Akron Newstead, it's coming your way. Oh, wait, we have 28. So this is now east of East Aurora and continuing along 28. It's about up to the windmills, I'd say.
Yeah, Warsaw, that's where the light rain is. But East Aurora, good news for you. You're starting to see the heaviest move out of your backyard. But this is crossing 28. Like you mentioned, Attica, light rain right now. And if you wanted me to, we could put this into motion just to see where the storm activity is headed. And currently the heaviest stuff crossing into Hamburg, now just out of Buffalo, but you can see there towards 28, the 400, if you're traveling south towards Springville, that's where you got some heavy rain, and eventually in the Batavia as well, if you go up into the northern edge of this, up towards 90. So there's a lot of activity still that's happening on Doppler across Western New York. And we also, Andy, we've got some very heavy rain still out there just towards the North Tonawanda area. Akron now on the doorstep as we start to stop this in motion right now. But Akron, you're about to see an uptick in rainfall intensity within the next couple of minutes. I mean, it's just right there about to cross into your backyard.
I'm glad you put that on there because we just had a question about Akron Newstead. And you may have had some thunder, you may have had some lightning, but now you're going to get the trifecta with the heavy rain and probably some gusty winds. That is a major cell. That's the biggest cell that we have that is out of the southern tier. So that is what we're going to be tracking there. It does get better. This is the brighter skies on the backside of this. It takes about an hour to an hour and a half from start to finish on this as it moves on through. What I'd like to widen this out just a little bit because I saw an interesting feature on that time lapse. If we can look at this cluster and the one over the southern tier, not that far, just a little bit closer in, just Erie County, if you will, and then put the time lapse on it and roll up a little bit, a little wider out, David. Let's bring in East Aurora up to Cheektowaga and watch these two particular areas of red as they almost form a new line and continue on. I'm actually surprised that that the severe thunderstorm warning doesn't take into account the folks in Akron there. So we'll be seeing if they extend that a little further. Batavia, you're just down the road. You're within the warning box, and we would expect that there will be some gusty winds and the same type of light show with the torrential downpours coming your way. I almost sense that the cell to the south over southern Erie County is beginning to almost pull northward. And it would really be interesting if it continued to do that. It would collide just with that other cell near Batavia. That could really set up a interesting situation for Genesee County coming up.
Yeah, I'm just looking at more reports here. It looks like there's some penny-sized hail out toward Eagle being reported, and out to the north of Olean, somebody also said pea-sized hail.
Yeah, here's an OMG, the wind. Yeah, Charlene, where was that? Where are you talking about with the wind? East Otto is another one that is seeing some action or is going to see that. So folks are kind of, as the sky gets dark, they look at their phone and they're hopping in, and we're happy to have you along. This is meteorologist Andy Parker and David Bogan kind of keeping you one step ahead of the weather. All you've got to do is give us a like and a share. If you could share the stream on your Facebook, your Twitter, or your YouTube, that would do us a great deal of good, and you can keep everybody informed as we watch this particular storm move on through. I think we just got an update now, and Akron is now in the thick of it. Niagara Falls is clearing. That's good news there. Rushford, we mentioned, this is coming your direction as well. If we slide just to the south, we can give the folks in Rushford a look. Orchard Park should find some improving conditions. I don't think you're going to start any baseball games up, but you're going to have at least the lighter rain coming on in. Niagara Falls, I've mentioned, is clearing. So there we go. You can see this knocking on the door of Houghton, Delavan, and this is the line that has had a history of producing some downed trees and, of course, some power lines out of there as well. Here's another report from Warsaw. A lot of lightning. The thunder is really picking up. This has been an electrical storm out over the lake, and it looks like that's continuing. We just heard, here's another one, a light show in Allegheny with the wicked winds coming in down there. So it sounds like, David, it has not lost any of the punch or the ground speed that are causing the trees and power lines to come down over Chautauqua, now central Cattaraugus, and it looks like a new storm report there in Allegheny.
Yeah, in Franklinville, tree down in the village of Franklinville. We've got one in Salamanca where law enforcement are tracking, or at least have a tree blocking traffic on I-86 just east of Salamanca. So that is from law enforcement.
That's
talking about a tree on I-86.
That's the big road down there. To have a tree come down and block that, that's pretty interesting. Amherst Snyder is clearing now. We've got a question. We're going to go. I want to take us back north. I know I'm moving you around, but Kara wants to know about Lockport Pendleton. When will it be improving? I think they were just in the middle of it. If we look at Transit Road, you should find yourself, if you're in West Lockport, you're improving. If you're East Lockport, closer to Rapids or northward, you're still in the thick of it. But what are we thinking? Another 15 minutes and you'll see the skies begin to look a little bit more like this than those dark skies. That's the view of downtown Buffalo. Now the raindrops have been reduced to, we'd call it more sporadic than that very heavy rain that came through there as well earlier today. Alden now jumping into the mix, and you can see that line runs directly through them as well. If you go out just to the east of Depew, that's where you pick up Alden, and there it is right there, right on the edge of it. Yeah,
traveling along 20 town line, you can see the National Weather Service just lifted the severe thunderstorm warning that was in place for Buffalo, Cheektowaga, and Town Line. That severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, is still in effect for the Attica area, for Batavia, really where we're seeing the good gusts just crossed Arcade, Pike, Gainesville, Perry, now on the edge of this, starting to see some light rain. But, you were just talking about people camping. And one of the areas that people love to camp at is Letchworth. And Nunda is right there, but want to go a little bit closer where you see Castile, Letchworth right within here, the Grand Canyon of the East, as they call it. And that line of gusty winds and heavy downpour is just on the edge of crossing into Letchworth State Park. So that is something to watch out there for our friends in Wyoming County, Andy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Castile before everybody starts typing that.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, okay.
I'm going to run laps.
Easy mistake. I've done that one too.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 push-ups for that one. All right, let's go back to the wide view here. I want to give everybody a look at the time lapse of the last hour, what's occurred. Let's take them from the shoreline of Lake Ontario all the way down into northwestern Pennsylvania as we look at this. Setting up the scenario, again, you've got meteorologist Andy Parker along with David Vogan. He's a storm chaser and meteorologist, been my weather producer for a number of years. We're tracking all of this for you. This has been the most significant line of thunderstorms across western New York during the summer season, and we wanted to make sure we were here getting you one step ahead of it. What you're able to do for us is throw a like on the screen. If you can just smash that like button for us and share the stream, whether you're watching this on YouTube, Twitter, or over on Facebook. We're great to have you along. We can see your comments. Go ahead and put them in there. There's a lot of folks along the lake that are finding improving conditions. But right now, there's a boat out over Lake Ontario that was struck by lightning 11 miles offshore. They're trying to rescue that one as it's begun taking on water. Some of the folks have produced some updates. If you have any of that, move it on the screen. You can see things along the shoreline of Lake Ontario are getting better. But the further inland you go, this line of storms, as we've been watching David David has been detailing, there's been trees and power lines down from the shoreline of Lake Erie, inland across southern Erie, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus, and now this is knocking on the door of both Wyoming and Allegheny County. It has a ground speed anywhere from 30 to 45 miles an hour. Wind gusts have been in excess of that with torrential downpours and a lot of lightning. So expect to see some trees and power lines down in Wyoming. We'll get those reports as they come in. We're getting another report here of power out in Black Creek. We've had power out in Pendleton. We've had power out in Hamburg. We've had power out in Bradford and in Clarence. Some of that has come back on over the last hour or so, and we're happy to keep these reports moving. They live in the town of Dayton. Lots of trees and branches down in the backyard. That's another one in Chautauqua County. So that's what we're watching for you tonight. Let's go to, here's one, Letchworth. Mount Morris Dam is in my backyard. Just started the thunder and lightning. Look at that. That's where it is, David, right coming up on Mount Morris.
Yeah, and National Weather Service now just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Letchworth. And again, that's a very popular area for the summertime. And going a little bit closer here, Pike, now starting to see that heavy rain on your doorstep. And Letchworth is right here where you see that line. Yeah, it's on the doorstep. It's about to go from light rain to very heavy rain within a matter of minutes.
Yeah, we're hearing those wind gusts within there are enough to move grills across the patio and, again, take those power lines down. Hey, our friends over at WBBZ thanking us for keeping everybody informed and safe. Thank you, guys. Good day to kind of sit in, kind of huddle up and watch some of the classics over there on WBBZ. What else do we have going on here? This says, how long does it last from start to finish? I think we covered that before, but it takes about an hour and a half total. Pendleton should start to see this thing wrap up, at least the heavy stuff, and then it turns lighter rain. But let's look at the back edge of the rain now, David. We can actually pin a time to this, and this is now the picture in downtown Buffalo that was dark as night for about an hour, has now significantly improved. We might even get, dare we say, a decent sunset out of this. We're getting close to sunset, if not already there. I forgot exactly what the sunset time is.
Probably just after 8:30, I want to say.
Yeah, so there we go. Again, some power outages still being reported. Let's go back to this map and show where that back edge is. The end of the rain, I think we can almost say it's another 15 to 20 minutes, and then we should really reduce this down to drizzle in Niagara Falls. And it looks like that'll be the first folks to see the rain come to an end, and it looks like portions of the shoreline, actually Cattaraugus County down by Ripley, Westfield, where the toll booths are, they'll be the ones to dry out first. And then the city of Buffalo seeing some improvement there. But the worst of it still that cluster that is now moving through eastern Erie, now exiting eastern Erie, central Erie, Genesee, Wyoming, and Allegheny County. This is where it's going to continue to cross over the next 45 minutes. Still some big thunder, they're saying. Marcia says Depew. I mean, I noticed that as well. Even though the skies were clearing in downtown Buffalo, as it was, there was still some thunder and lightning. It looks like the lights are on in the city. They came on early. The street lights came on early. David, I don't think they're going to turn off. I think they're just going to stay that way now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're going to be dealing with moderate rainfall for at least the next hour in Buffalo. Lots of yellow on the back end of this line, but the intense line that we're looking at right now in this area, I mean, you've got one just to the south of New York State. This is a line right here from St. Mary's, just towards Coudersport.
Are we getting
that's really packing a punch.
Yeah. Is that a meso signature?
Yeah, that is in Pennsylvania. Just want to let everybody know. Not in New York State, but in Pennsylvania. Right. But that is detecting that there possibly is a meso within this line.
Let's explain that. I know I use the term meso, but let's go ahead and give people an idea. That means there's some rotation detected within the line of these thunderstorms, and the Doppler throws that up there just to give us a heads up that the storm does contain some rotation.
Yeah, and I do want to take you up here towards this line, this second line, going from Olean all the way up to Wyoming. And this is the line here, your second line, that's also packing some good wind gusts. So from Warsaw to Attica, even heavy rain. I mean, look at the reds just dotting the map from Lancaster, Attica, just on the doorstep of Warsaw, Pike. Houghton. Rushford Lake is right within here. Cuba, crossing I-86, about to move into Wellsville. This line is still has some very good wind gusts coming out of this. So we're not out of the woods just yet as this line begins to cross into finally making its exit out of the eastern half of western New York, Andy.
Hey, you know what? Even though some of the heaviest rain is already out of here now, take a look at this. West Seneca says they've got big lightning there. NT still getting a light show up there as well. And another one, this one sent in, Paula says the biggest flash of lightning and the loudest thunder in Elma. And the worst of the rain has gone by, but there's still lightning to be had anywhere within those yellows that extend all the way down to the lake shore there.
I'm just getting some new information right now. Just trying to put this up.
Sure.
But it looks like no, that's not going to be for us. Never mind. Wrong Erie County.
Erie County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, wrong Erie County. It's this line. I mean, much of Western New York, by the way, is getting rainfall. So if you go from Orleans County, we haven't talked about Orleans County a whole lot, because it's one of the last counties to see this rainfall. Still on the lighter side for you up there, and actually a new severe thunderstorm warning for Orleans County as we've been speaking. But now finally, we're starting to see the rain, by the way. And look at that view. That is just beautiful. Up towards, that's Niagara. That's close to looking towards Niagara Falls, I want to say, right?
Yeah,
you're starting to see that sun.
Now north.
Yeah, oh, that's beautiful. And you're starting to see that blue skies just peeking on in there. So the end is near for those of us in Niagara County, Niagara Falls, Buffalo as well. And you can see out here, if you want to know where the rain has finally stopped, Westfield, Ripley, you're finally bone dry. You're ready just to go outside and clean up on some of the mess here as we got more storm reports out in the Ripley and Westfield area. So that's good news. Mayville, another 10-15 minutes before the rain exits your backyard. And Dunkirk, just about to see the rain exit your area. So we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, Andy, but still some very heavy downpours now crossing into Wyoming and Allegheny County, some of the last counties, Andy, to see this heavy rainfall.
Yeah, that's where we're still keeping track of this line. We're going to keep the stream going for those folks until it kind of exits the area of concern here in Western New York, and then we'll hand it off to the meteorologist, the very capable meteorologist in Rochester. They watch everything along the 390 all the way down through the Finger Lakes. This is something that's going to continue to plow. Dave, could you please put the time lapse on there? We'll give us an idea to show the motion of where this is going, just so you get an idea of where it's been. Here's how it's really developed. Those yellow boxes that you see on there are the warned boxes. This is now showing a bit of a bow to it. Almost looks like a kind of the bow and arrow type of thing. Oh, they just lit up all of central New York. So I think the history of these storms precedes it now, and the folks at the National Weather Service know this is going to be a busy night for anybody from Alfred all the way to Corning. And it looks like we've caught a rainbow on there, huh? Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from Paul. He just sent it in to us. A double rainbow out there in Niagara Falls, the Canadian side, just after the storm moved on through. So I wish I was able in time to get you a better
that's great.
resolution picture, but this just came in. So
yeah, that's fantastic. That is neat stuff. Silver Springs, thunder and lightning. My home power surges out there, and it says this isn't coming back tonight. Please say no. No, it's not. This is kind of one and done, I think is the term we could use for this. You're not going to see. You'll see showers on Friday, but nothing like this. There's Barker. It is busy in Barker. Love that. Lots of lightning and thunder in Mount Morris. Yes, all the folks in Perry and in Geneseo, anywhere in that area, are going to start. They're going to be the ones that are they're now going to look at their phones and say, what's going on? They're grabbing this stream. If you're just checking in right now, I just looked up, we had a lot of new folks that just popped in. What you could do for us right now is quick hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds of your time, and also share the stream. That's very helpful as well. We're going to try to keep everybody one step ahead of the storm, as this line of storms covers about 80% of the area from north to south. It doesn't quite make it up into Orleans County yet, but it looks like it is extending that direction and it's moving that way. If you have a place that you're interested in, when this is coming, when it's clearing, any other weather questions, happy to do this for you as well. And yes, we appreciate you guys, no problem. This was more than just your garden variety thunderstorms. So we wanted to make sure that we got in front of this and helped folks understand what was coming. This wasn't just an average night in Western New York. We can see that the kind of watching the sinking clouds here, or the sinking sun. And we still have some of those taller clouds in the distance, Dave.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, we just got the possibility of hail or hail detection on radar crossing into. I just wanted to pause it right here. It looks just to the south of Warsaw. So within this bright red circle right here, probability of hail 70%. And that's about penny size. So again, this is radar detected. Doesn't mean there you go. The radar just updated. Doesn't mean there's hail falling to the ground, but it's been detected by radar.
Yeah, there's a 70% chance that it's actually coming out of there, so that's pretty good. Either way, it's a very aggressive storm in Warsaw right now. That is not going to be a fun evening there, just as the sun is going down. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Joanne. We love to hear that when you guys are able to do that. What do we have here? It says, when will Albion and Barrie get hit by the storm? So we're going back up north to Albion. It's kind of on the edge of it there.
Yeah, Albion and Medina lucking out at the moment, and you can see the heaviest stuff is just to the south of you folks, Oakfield, all the way into Elba. Elba about to get hit. Batavia, I mean, you're kind of in the pocket right now, right? Look at that. Look how close you are to seeing that heavy rain move into your area. That's about 10-15 minute drive before it moves to Batavia, the center of Genesee County. So
there's no
it's
avoiding
coming.
it.
No,
that's coming right at them.
No, absolutely not. You're about to see an uptick in rainfall intensity, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, big time. All right, here we go. This is an interesting one here. It says 20 minutes ago, it was coming down so hard in Buffalo, New York, you couldn't have done anything to stay dry. And it's thunder and lightning right now. So on the back side of this, they're almost seeing that it should be wrapping up in the city. Still some lightning strikes out there. This was a very electrical storm for us. This was probably the most lightning that we've had all summer, I think it's safe to say. Paula, here's another one. It says some vivid lightning, thunder pretty loud. Thank you, Paula. Appreciate it. Weather geeks or not, or you're just freaked out by the dark skies. We're happy to have everybody along. Hitting them now in Warsaw. They're saying pretty heavy rain, and I'd say, it's they're right under the middle of it, maybe even a little bit of hail out of this too.
Yeah, I mean, we just zoomed into your backyard, Wyoming County. You are one of the last counties to see the heavy rain, the lightning cross into your area. And wouldn't be shocked, Andy, if they saw a good gust of wind out of this line moving on through. We've got lots of storm reports from southern Erie County for the Derby, Evans, Angola area, into Chautauqua County, Brockton. I know there are some reports of trees down in your backyard, even going into Cattaraugus. I mean, this is what I want to show you right now. We widen out the picture. Keep the time lapse on. Look at the blue dots. I mean, I wish I could make the blue dots bigger, but watch them just pop up on the map as this line pushed on through the southern tier. That's incredible. This is something that you typically don't see in Western New York that often. It does happen, but this was a really a line of storms in the southern tier that packed a punch out there for our friends in Dunkirk to Cattaraugus to Olean. It's just some.
Well, here you go. You've got power out.
A lot of storm reports.
Power out in Evans for 20 minutes. The winds were pretty bad there in hitting this there in Warsaw. They've got the heavy rain. Here's another one. A power outage 3 times in Clarence. So it's bouncing in and out. Heavy rain, lots of lightning in Royalton. It is not coming back to East Aurora again. This is once this line goes through, it will last anywhere from the beginning to the end about 2 hours, and then it'll wrap up, and we should be quieter for the rest of the overnight there. Appreciate that. Take a look at this. I want to give this another piece. We're about to see some of the sun, the setting sun kind of light up the underside of this cloud deck. This is the remaining of the rain clouds. Behind it, it opens up. But sometimes you get those cotton candy clouds at this time of night. I don't think it's going to be as pretty as it is when you don't have these storms, but there it is. Hey, lightning in North Java. So this thing is still producing. Dave, I'm going to go take a quick look at how many lightning strikes we've got on the map out of this. It doesn't look quite as many. I think we're under 300. We've dropped significantly. I think we're about 118 strikes. At its peak, we were over 400 lightning strikes over a 30-minute period. So we've dropped off. But watching these, the fresh lightning strikes still coming. Even on the very edge of this rain, as it begins to exit, there's still some lightning strikes being added to the map. But look at this. That line, look at how fast that is racing as it goes from Holland over to Warsaw. Nunde is right on the edge of this as well. Geneseo, and then down, we mentioned Houghton a number of times.
Yeah, it's just surreal to see on Doppler. Holland Arcade, definitely Arcade got into the mix right there. You see a couple of reports of trees down in your backyard. Houghton, Rushford Lake, I know that's a popular area for people to retreat from the city and just spend some time in the cottages down there, and just nobody escaped the rain here in Western New York. Lots of lightning, and by the way, anytime you see an electrical event like this in the sky, you have to have a lot of moisture for that to happen. And those skies, by the way, in the back end, just beautiful. It looks like Bob Ross got his paintbrush out there and painted a happy scene after a stormy day. So
yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Mount Morris real quick, because they're talking about this, and then I want to go back over Lake Ontario. That 35-foot boat that was hit by a lightning strike. Now the motor that lost the engine and it's taking on water. So here we go, Mount Morris. The folks in central New York, this is coming your direction. There it is, right on the map, and they said it's really picking up. It is. It is hitting you right now, and this is going to be the worst 15, 20 minutes of your night, and then things are going to get better. But look at Perry. What was that at Perry? Was that just in the land? It was there and gone. So the hail threat, not a huge one here. Let's follow that to the north, David. We'll go right through Wyoming, north of Warsaw, and see where this ends up, this line of strong storms. So it looks like that watch box, warning box there for Akron. Batavia is right on the edge of this. We'll go a little further north because you can see that cluster of heavy rain. It might not contain the big winds that bow echo to the south does, but the closer you get to the shoreline of Lake Ontario, you're still finding a pretty decent amount of rain out of this as well. If we can slide that further to the north, that's kind of what we're keeping our eye on. This is the picture of downtown Buffalo as we're watching the sun kind of set on a very stormy day across Western New York, and we're going to be keeping an eye on all of it as it begins to continue to move across the region. This is kind of the finish up of this storm. Thunder cannons. It says thunder cannons for hail going on in the orchards in Albion. Oh my gosh, look at that. Here's another picture of that radar as it slides and continues to move. There you go up to the north. While there is rain, they just extended another watch box over to warning box over to Rochester. That's going to be one that encompasses those folks. Rochester is going to see this arrive now after sunset, probably in the next 30 to 45 minutes. But it's that bow echo that runs from Perry all the way down into Pennsylvania. That's going to be a big one there. Surprised there's no flood watches. There was a ton of rain. It came down very intense. Absolutely came down in a big way. But what we're going to find is that the amount of rain was tempered by the speed of the storm. It's now raining pretty hard in Barrie now. And then James, thank you, James. James has asked, should he have attempted to change his oil in his driveway? And it depends on how successful he can be, how speedy he can be. He said he didn't want to try it today, so that's fine there. Wanted to see if there was anything, any other reports coming in on this line as it moves on through. Still looking at it. It is picking up speed. It's moving quickly. It's across Perry, and let's look at Pennsylvania. We haven't included those folks down there. And Debbie just asked about Ulysses. No wind yet, no rain, but this is actually the southern end of this storm I'm more concerned about, less near the New York-Pennsylvania line, but more as you drop a little bit further south into, let me move, Debbie, I'm going to pull you off the picture there, by St. Mary's, Gailton, and Williamsport. So maybe less near the New York, Pennsylvania line, but more as you get over central portions of McKean and southern Potter County. All right, let's see if we can move this back to the north, David. Any hail reported in Lewiston? I'm not hearing you. I don't know. I haven't heard about any hail reports out of this. There were some as the storm began, and then it kind of laid off. The hail, there were some threats, but it never really amounted to anything. Some folks saw the bigger winds. That was a bigger issue, right, David?
Yeah, you got me?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
Yeah, my headphones died, so I had to improvise
Totally
here.
understand.
So yeah, thankfully we're starting to see the end with this line of storms now crossing through Niagara County, Niagara Falls, just on the end of this. Buffalo, beautiful picture out there.
Yeah.
For you folks out there. Dunkirk now done with the rain. Brockton, all the way down to Ripley.
Dave.
You are done with the rain.
Dave, I'm gonna let you go through some storm reports and a bit of a radar check for me here for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at this time lapse here and seeing all the blue dots on the map, and that is the storm reports from this line of intense showers and lightning and gusty winds that just blew through the southern tier. And you notice a lot of this is south of Buffalo in the southern tier. So from close to the Hamburg area, the Evans, through Brockton, Dunkirk. You look at all the storm reports dotting the map here. Going a little bit closer, Springville certainly saw some storm reports. In fact, I'm going to stop this right now and show you right out here towards Little Valley, Cattaraugus. You got a tree down across Reed Hill Road. Right out towards Salamanca, we also, there was a report of tree down towards the I-86 area in Salamanca. So this certainly packed a punch out there for the southern tier. Cassadaga, trees and wires down on Cassadaga Road. Wheatfield, tree down on Union Street. I mean, a lot of storm reports dotting the map south of Buffalo. And we're not done yet for our friends in Wellsville. This is about to cross into your area within 10 to 15 minutes. Olean just saw the heaviest rain, now moving out of your backyard, sliding up to Warsaw, still in the thick of things. Perry, heavy downpours. Batavia, just about to cross into downtown Batavia. Medina, just to the south of you. I mean, Medina has looked out so far. The heaviest to the south of the locks out there. Albion, still seeing some light rainfall. Newfane, Londonville, light rain. And then here's where the edge is, Andy. St. Catharines now dry. Niagara Falls, 10, 15 minutes. Rain's going to be out of your backyard. Grand Island, you still got around 20, 30 minutes or so. And downtown Buffalo, that view, just absolutely beautiful. We're still seeing some rainfall here, not as intense as what we were seeing past 30 minutes.
Yeah, this is a huge improvement for everybody in portions of Niagara and in Erie County, Chautauqua as well. Starting to see the edge of those clouds. The sun goes down 8:49 with sunset. We're going to kind of bring the rain and the lightning to an end for a lot of these folks here. We've got another report of another damage report coming in. Niagara County Firewire says we've got a tree across the road at Nelson Road and Beebe Road and at Wilson. About a half mile down the road. So a lot of these trees came down. Those storm reports that you were detailing really ran now from north to south. And I think the lion's share of those were reported in Chautauqua and Cattaraugus County, but maybe more to come as we continue to watch the storm move on to the east. We're kind of holding with it. It's through Olean. Now it's going to be Coudersport. The folks in Ulysses are going to be under the gun as well. All those little blue I guess you'd call them squares or rectangles on the screen. Those are all the damage reports that have been left in the wake, and those usually come on a little bit of a delay after they happen. So we're seeing that there's going to be some folks doing some pickup there tomorrow morning. Did you want to show anything down there on the southern end of this, or did you want to just widen this thing out and maybe wrap it up as it begins to exit, and we'll hand it off to the folks in Central New York and let them worry about it at this point. Has it hit Batavia? I think once it clears Batavia.
Just now. Hitting Batavia.
Yep, there it goes. Zero in on Batavia just a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. If it's on top of them, and no reports of washed out roads. I don't know that there was enough rain to do that. I think it was, and even then, it's going to be a delay on that. So the folks in Batavia are just now starting to see that. It's interesting, David. It almost looks like it narrowed a little bit, and I don't want to call it weakened, but it certainly morphed its shape a bit as it moves on off that direction.
Yeah, I mean, you're still getting heavy rain, lightning out of this. There's a ton of moisture in the atmosphere, and that's one of the reasons why you're seeing so much lightning and hearing thunder onto this line of storms moving on through. So you're still seeing that aspect or that hazard of the storms, but in terms of the damaging wind gusts, that was more so for the southern tier. They got a lot that got handed to them within the past couple of hours, but it's up here for the most part. It's been about the rain and lightning.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. Those low clouds are at eye level, and they're being kind of back illuminated there by the large mothership cloud that is hovering directly overhead. This is the view in downtown Buffalo as the sun sets. There's a gap in the cloud banks, and if we can kind of look straight up at the belly of this thing, there it is. But you've got a couple of these clouds just kind of hanging out at eye level of the camera, which is kind of neat. Just a couple little tufts there. So it's been an interesting storm to watch, no doubt about it. As this all moves from west to east, kind of targeting areas of eastern, I guess, Orleans, now central Genesee, moving to the east portion of Wyoming and Allegheny County. So like I said before, we're probably ready to maybe hand off the coverage to our folks in central New York and let them kind of carry through for the next few hours, because that's how long they're going to have to deal with this thing as it continues to kind of exit the region on us. All right, I think with that, if there's no other questions or comments, is the humidity gone? It will be shortly. So I will pitch it out there one more time. If anybody has any questions or comments on how this is unraveling for the remainder of the evening, feel free to pop them in the comments page. We're with you here, able to answer those for you. But it does look like we're going to kind of release this storm now that it's crossed the majority of western New York. And what you have to go through is going to be some gusty winds, the rain, and even the lightning has backed off a little bit there as well. All right, Peg, we appreciate the kind words. And again, if you want to leave a comment, like or share on your way out, that would be great. I think we're up to, if we get 5 more likes, anybody, can we get 5 more likes before you all leave the building? That would be awesome. Thank you very much. On behalf of David Bogut, I'm meteorologist Andy Parker. Great to have you along. Hopefully we get some decent weather for you for the next few days. Always find us here on the stream, wherever you may be looking in the palm of your hand, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. I think Twitter is there as well. We cover them all, and we're happy to be there for you when you need them. Thanks so much for watching.